across my palm with silver?" she demanded, sticking out a grubby hand. "But I gave you a shilling," I said. "That's what it says on the board outside."
"Messages from the third circle cost extra," she wheezed. "They drain the batteries of my soul."
I almost laughed out loud. Who did this old hag think she was? But still, she seemed to have spotted Harriet beyond the veil, and I couldn't let scepticism spoil even half a chance of having a few words with my dead mother. I dug for my last shilling, and as I pressed the coin into her hand, the gypsy's dark eyes, suddenly as bright as a jackdaw's, met mine.
"She is trying to come home," she said. "This woman is trying to come home from the cold. She wants you to help her."
I leapt to my feet, bashing the bottom of the table with my bare knees. It teetered, then toppled to one side as the candle slid off and fell among a tangle of dusty black hangings. At first there was a little wisp of black smoke as the flame turned blue, then red, then quickly orange. I looked on in horror as it spread along the drapery. In less time than it takes to tell, the entire tent was in flames. I wish I'd had the presence of mind to throw a wet cloth over the gypsy's eyes and lead her to safety, but instead I bolted, straight through the circle of fire that was the entranceway, and I didn't stop until I reached the coconut pitch, where I stood panting behind a canvas drape, trying to catch my breath. Someone had brought a wind-up gramophone to the churchyard, from which the voice of Danny Kaye was issuing, made nauseously tinny by the throat of the machine's painted horn.
"Oh, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are a-standing in a row."
I looked back at the gypsy's tent just in time to see Mr. Haskins, St. Tancred's sexton, and another man whom I didn't recognise heave a tub of water, apples and all, onto the flames. Half the villagers of Bishop's Lacey, or so it seemed, stood gaping at the rising column of black smoke, hands over mouths or fingertips to cheeks, and not a single one of them knowing what to do. Dr. Darby was already leading the gypsy slowly away towards the St. John's ambulance tent, her ancient frame racked with coughing. How small she seemed in the sunlight, I thought, and how pale.
"Oh, there you are, you odious little prawn. We've been looking for you everywhere."
It was Ophelia, the older of my two sisters. Feely was 17, and ranked herself right up there with the Blessed Virgin Mary, although the chief difference between them, I'm willing to bet, is that the BVM doesn't spend 23 hours a day peering at herself in a looking-glass while picking away at her face with a pair of tweezers. With Feely, it was always best to employ the rapid retort, "How dare you call me a prawn, you stupid sausage? Father's told you more than once it's disrespectful." Feely made a snatch at my ear, but I sidestepped her easily. By sheer necessity, the lightning dodge had become one of my specialities. "Where's Daffy?" I asked, hoping to divert her venomous attention. Daffy was my other sister, 2 years older than me, and at 13 already an accomplished co-torturer.
"Drooling over the books, where else?"
She pointed with her chin to a horseshoe of trestle tables on the churchyard grass, upon which the St. Tancred's Altar Guild and the Women's Institute had joined forces to set up a jumble sale of second-hand books and assorted household rubbish. Feely had seemed not to notice the smoking remnants of the gypsy's tent. As always, she had left her spectacles at home out of vanity, but her inattentiveness might simply have been lack of interest. For all practical purposes, Feely's enthusiasm stopped where her skin ended.
"Look at these,"
she said, holding a set of black earrings up to her ears. She couldn't resist showing off.
"French jet. They came from Lady Trotter's estate. Glenda says they were quite fortunate to get a tanner for them."
"Glenda's right," I said. "French jet is nothing but glass." It was true. I had recently melted down a ghastly Victorian brooch in my chemical laboratory and found it to be completely silicaceous. It was unlikely that Feely would ever miss the thing. "English jet is so much more interesting," I said. "It's formed from the fossilised remains of monkey puzzle trees, you see, and..."